guys, my name is Courtney Webb, and I am the Strange.
And I am Michael Zinn, and I am the Wonderful.
And we are the Strange and Wonderful.
Yes, we are.
Welcome back. As you can see, I'm dressed as my dolly self today.
And your dolly self is dressed as you. That's so cool. I love to see you guys matching like that. That's very
She's
cool.
always wearing this, though.
So I was horrified to notice that we went through such a hassle, and I
I
made
know.
you correct the graphic, and then I put the wrong one in the video.
I was like,
I
no.
can't even
I was
believe it.
internally screaming. I'm like,
And I thought I didn't even know it until it just happened, and I think I want to go. I'm going to go look for the correct one so that I can put it up at some point. But anyway, how you doing, man? How's your week?
I've been doing great. I've been doing fantastic, working as always.
Yeah.
And I'm finally seeing the new American Horror Story, the season 2, The Dollhouse, and it brought back my love of the dolly aesthetic. And I'm like, yes,
It put you back in the mood. Awesome.
yes.
That's great. That's awesome. I haven't seen the American Horror Story series in a while, but awesome. I love the first season. The first season.
Oh yeah, the fourth season is the best season. Mortal House, that one goes down so hard.
Yeah.
Now I just want to rewatch Coven now because I like Spalding. I'm like, hey,
Yeah, I get you.
it's like, hey, old man, you need a doll?
Yeah. No, but like American Horror Story was like one of those shows that came out when like shows started to evolve, like the writing of the shows and the production of the shows was like really changing to more cinematic and much a higher level of
and
everything.
I really liked about that, and it showed like, hey, because back in the day, movies wasn't going as well, and so they like, hey, we gotta amp up the TV shows, and I'm glad they did that with American Horror Story because I remember watching it as a kid. I was like, am I supposed to be watching this? I don't care. I'm gonna watch it anyway.
Right.
And then I got my parents hooked onto it. It's just great. But lately, they've been kind of going downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think now production is all over the levels of production all over the field. You know what I mean? There's like low budget stuff that makes it to the mainstream, and there's high budget stuff that never makes it. But hey, man, it's just creativity. It's all good. We love it all. So welcome to the Strange and Wonderful for all you people out there watching. I'm excited about this week's guest, and I think Courtney is as well because Courtney's been getting all the guests, so I think she's excited about all the guests.
Yes, I am.
I think this is actually a friend of yours, isn't it?
Yes, she is. She is a friend I met through my boyfriend, Stefan.
Cool.
I don't know if he's watching. If he is, hello. I love you.
What's up, Stefan? We love you here at the Strange and Wonderful. So why don't you fabricate a nice introduction for us? Tell us who we got on the show today.
Today on the show, she is a wonderful friend of mine. I met her through my boyfriend. Her name is Hannah Riann, and she is a known cosplayer in the cosplay community, and she has been featured several times in Shreveport Times, and she is a regular judge for cosplay contests.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I did a little bit of research, and I'm excited to talk to her myself because I've been to lots of conventions and in the scene myself with the Women of Armageddon calendar. But let's welcome to the show the wonderful Hannah Riann. Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Trying to stay cool. It's real hot outside, you know.
Oh yeah.
What's the temperature like over there in Shreveport?
Well, it says on my computer right now it's 93, and I'm sure it was hotter earlier. So
Wow.
I'm trying to stay cool.
You guys got a lot of humidity over there too. What's the?
Yeah, it's really bad down here.
Bad.
Yeah, I think it was like 95% humidity here in New York. So I'm feeling that heat also. And we do have Stefan out there. He loves you too.
Hi, Stefan.
So how are you doing? Welcome to the show. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but we've been going for a little while, and we're really building it up, and we're welcoming people who kind of live, by their own rules and have their own kind of lifestyle that not everybody might think is normal. And for us it is. I mean, as I was saying, I did a calendar called Women of Armageddon, and it was all about kind of like the costume and the character and everything like that. And so it got me into Comic-Con a couple of times, and those kinds of conventions. So it's kind of cool to see how much goes into creating these costumes and the passion that people have for it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into it and what's your specialty?
Well, I got into it around 12. I'm 22 now, so that's 10 years. I've been doing it. I started off. My mom showed me Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'm a huge horror buff, huge horror fan. So I started young, and she was like, "Hey, Robert Englund's going to be in New Orleans at this Comic-Con. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And so of course I started doing my research. I was like, "People dress up for this? Like, this is so cool." So I looked up. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do Freddy Krueger." So I did a female Freddy Krueger, and it was like I did special effects makeup first and foremost before I started doing costumes. I dabbled in liquid latex, all that stuff. And so I showed up. He had a fit over me in my costume, and he really pushed this. Hey, keep going with this creativity. Keep going with this. This flow you've got going. You're young. Keep on it. And
how old were you at that point?
I was 12, 13. So it was yeah. And so that, and then also just the interactions with people, because people would come up and take my picture, and I'm like, I'm 12. This is so weird. So that's really what started it, was him giving me that reaction in the people.
Well, that's got to be really encouraging. I mean, for Robert Englund to tell you to continue, and that's great to hear that that's how he responded to seeing what you did. It does. I have a lot of respect. Not everyone is good at it. I've seen your work, so I know you're good, and I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, she is amazing.
Bring up some pictures, but not everyone's good at it. But I give everybody who's doing it respect just for not sitting on their couch watching TV. They're out there, they're doing it, they're trying something at least. And I know from personal experience, a lot goes into that. You can certainly go get ketchup and get some things from your refrigerator and try it and half-ass it, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. Did you train at all, or?
Well, so I don't know if you can see her back there, but I only started sewing 5 years ago, and she taught me when she was 13 and I was 18.
Hello.
So that's my sister Emma. She's like one partner in crime. She's back there working on cosplay stuff now.
Nice.
But I've done that. They said hello. I did that. She taught me how to do that, but it was more just like YouTubing it and watching, Jessica Negri, Yaya Han on YouTube, showing people how to do things. So it wasn't a whole lot of training. It was more like trial and error. So even with the special effects makeup, I looked at YouTube videos and was like, hey, I can do this with eyelash glue and stuff for my house. But it does take a lot to do this kind of thing. We start planning a year in advance for these cons. Sure. So like Geek Con, is coming up, and we plan a year in advance. So it takes a lot. No matter what you're doing, it takes a lot of hard work and time and dedication. Dedication is another thing. So
yeah, it's a lot of dedication because I cosplay myself, and I understand completely.
And it takes a lot to walk through those cons all day long in a costume, and how tiring it is, no matter what you're wearing. Even a wig, it's just tiring. So it takes a lot.
Right, totally. And some of those people, they go nuts with the Transformers costumes, and they're they could barely even move, and they've got to get through crowds. It's
I had Pyramid Head last year at GeekCon on a Saturday, and of course I can't see, and I got on big 7-inch boots, and it's okay, I gotta stop somewhere. And she's wearing the nurse, and she has one eye hole, and I'm like, neither one of us can see. We had to have 3 people around us at all times to guide us in the right direction. It was hilarious. And then we took it to another convention, and we won for best in show. And she was up there with me, and I walked off without her. And she was like, hello. And I'm like, oh, let me grab you. Hold on. You can't see. I forgot. So, I mean, people go all out, all out. It's insane.
Awesome. I was wondering when I saw the pictures of the nurse. I was like, oh, I wonder. I thought it was. I assumed it was a friend, but that's awesome that you're doing it with your sister.
Yeah.
And that again, it's like there's so many skills involved to these costumes. It's not just like sewing is one of them for sure. I'm sure that helps tremendously get stuff together quicker. But like it's also like an arts and crafts kind of skill also, right?
Absolutely. I tried because I'm balling on a budget out here. I graduated college just this past May. So
Right.
like I'm out here trying to pull stuff that I can, what I can use around my house. I just make gloves out of yoga pants because I didn't feel like going and getting fabric. So like, it's arts and crafts. It's very, pulling pieces together and seeing what fits. And like I said, it's very trial and error too.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
um
Cool. Very cool. So, Courtney, I know you always have your questions.
Yes, I do.
I do have a bunch of photos. Do you want to talk
Yes,
about?
let's show the photos. Her beautiful wolf.
Okay, so we're going to go through a little tour. You're going to tell us a little bit about what we're looking at. All right.
okay.
So hold on. Let me just get in here and share my screen. Share my window. Here we go. So this is the first thing that you were talking about. So that's
the pyramid.
A good way to go into it. So I know what this is. I'm sure a lot of people in our audience know what this is. But start at the beginning as if somebody, a little kid was seeing you going, "Oh my God, what is this character?"
So it's from a video game called Silent Hill 2. It's also from a movie, but like the origin is from Silent Hill 2. And it is just this big like monster guy. And in the game, he is like the personification of the main character's guilt and sexual guilt. But in the movie, I guess he's just like the Punisher type person. He's ripping people's skin off and stuff. There's more that goes into that, but that's basically it. They're also the nurse and the Pyramid Head. They're also in Dead by Daylight, which is a new game that people are playing. It's like God, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a chase game, if that makes sense. Like you can play it on Switch and all that. I've played it a couple times, but I do not know how to.
I do know a Day by Daylight. I don't own the game, but I would like to. It's pretty much like a cat and mouse game.
That's it.
You're getting chased by either a serial killer or a monster, and your friend can either play the monster or you can either play the survival.
Yep, and they have different packs and stuff. And they have Stranger Things, they have Scream, but they also have Silent Hill, and of course. At this con, everybody kept coming up and going, "It's the Executioner," and I'm like, "Yes, yeah." Also, no, but yes. So, but that's him. This was actually from Shreveport Times. This picture. So.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. So they were doing an article. I'm going to talk about that. I have some pictures of that too. But that's interesting that they recycled the character into a different property. You saying there's a movie that wasn't Silent Hill that these characters were in?
So it was Silent Hill, but it doesn't have anything to do with the games. It's kind of based off the first one, but a bunch of the fans hate the movie. So we really don't talk about the movies. But the helmet is different in the game and the movie, and the helmet that I made is based on the movie just because it was easier to make and I could actually see out of it. So that's yeah.
Right. And I guess you said it's supposed to represent the character's guilt, so it's some sort of like self-torture device or
absolutely. So he chases the character of Pyramid Head chases around James Sunderland, which is the main character of Silent Hill 2. He killed his wife. So like he cheated on his wife with people too because she was sick. So he chases him around and messes with him and messes with his head. He's a boss battle like 3 times in the game, but you can never kill him. So that kind of thing. It's like a mental thing, and most of the enemies do end up personifying like stuff in his life. So
right. So it's a very like psychological game. Let's see what else I got. I think that let me see. These are if I have any other. Yeah, here's another one.
It's Pyramid Head.
On location.
Yeah, I took that in my backyard.
That's your backyard. Wow.
Yeah, not kind of my backyard. My grandfather has like he has a body shop, and he like has like this area where there's like a bunch of wreck stuff, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go take pictures. I bought a camera just so I could take my own pictures because I don't like going through other people. I have an image in my head, and that's how it works. So
cool. Yeah, I think there's a bunch of pictures from this location, and I thought it was like some, not a set, but obviously like some old farm or something with some old machinery. I thought it was like a location, but that's your backyard. That's cool. Yeah, that's a great set for that kind of picture. Let's see what else we got here. Hold on a second. So you were talking earlier about the Shreveport news. So you're obviously, a little bit more involved than just, somebody who attends these things and dresses up. You're teaching classes. Tell me what this is all about.
So this is a cosplay workshop we're doing with Art Space. Me, my sister, and our friend Michael Burns. He's teaching. He does Superman every year at GeekCon. You know him, Courtney.
Oh yeah.
He's there every year, and so we're teaching cosplay workshop for adults, and it's a 5-week class, and we're teaching them the basics. Character selection, EVA, hair and makeup, costuming, like making and sewing, which is a big part of it. And people seem to really enjoy that, us teaching them sewing. So we're doing that. And then this week we are doing a cosplay workshop for children. So we're doing like little EVA, like mask and stuff. We're doing like iron-on stuff on T-shirts, letting them make like utility belts and stuff. So, we're working with Art Space to do that. So, we're trying to get it to be more of an involved thing.
Right. No, that's amazing. And I was going to say, it's not even like, I mean, you're trying, you're actually fulfilling a need is what you're doing, because it's become that interesting to people that they're like, oh, this is something that actually takes time and energy and is creative, and I could learn how to do it. And, I mean, is this something you're doing full time now, or is this just part time right
now? This is for the summer. I'm doing other stuff. I am an alteration specialist at David's Bridal right now. Okay. So I sew 24/7. Okay. I think it hones in on my craft. I think it makes me better. So I constantly work, then I come home and I sew other stuff. Right. So but I like teaching people how to do this kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you know what? I'm not surprised. Is you did this before? You were a seamstress before you started doing this, or?
What, the classes?
Well, you said you work at the bridal shop. So for how long have you been working at the bridal shop?
I've been working there for a year. I just got out of school, and I have a degree in theater, specifically costume design. So I was sewing,
amazing. Amazing.
And doing costume designs for theater work and stuff. So I'm well-rounded in sewing and costumes.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I feel like everything you do in life kind of all adds up, and then you end up coming full circle and like, oh, this is actually what I'm doing for a living now.
Exactly.
I think that's great. Awesome. Let's see, I got a couple more here. This is a good example, I think.
I know what that one is.
All right. So
this is, I just want to say, like, this is something normally I think a lot of cosplayers would try to find and buy, but you're like, this is what I want. You said you picture it in your head, you draw it.
Yeah.
Tell us about that whole thing.
This is the steampunk dress from Alice Madness Returns. It's like an Alice in Wonderland type spinoff, and she's messed up in the head, that kind of thing. So it's leather, and it has rivets and stuff like that. Well, fun fact, I'm not bringing this to GeekCon. I said I was, but I can't finish it in time. So I'm trying to like really not stress myself out. I bit off more than I could chew. Right?
Yeah. It happens. So, I mean, it could be a Halloween costume.
Exactly. Or there are other cons this year that I can take it to. I'm not done. But I made all of this. The gloves are from Yoga Pants, like I was saying. The dress, and then the corset and everything. So I made everything. It was a stressful time, but yeah, it's not coming out anytime soon.
Right.
I'm probably gonna bring Hellboy to GeekCon this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm imagining if this is gonna be. I think I remember that game being very steampunk. So does this have like more like dials and gears and things on it?
Oh yeah, and there's a big bow on the back that's got like a clock and stuff. I was not stressing myself out. I'll make it. I bit off more than I could chew. I'll make it another day.
That's right. Yeah, I like that attitude. So let's take a look at what you're talking about here, because this is pretty cool too. I don't have this on, but you're talking about doing
Hellboy.
I love this costume. This is my favorite. I've done multiple.
Very in this costume.
Oh yeah, I started as a special effects amateur. So this costume, I didn't make a whole lot of pieces of this costume, but I feel like that's okay. I'm not one to harp on people about not making their costumes because I buy pieces too. I like to focus on the makeup with this one because it does take a while. I made my horns. I made the mold and everything and did it myself. But this is at Frightmare Weekend in Texas. And I met Ron Perlman the third time, and it was real cool. He's real nice. I love him. But yeah, I'm going to make a tail for that one. There he is.
There he is.
And he signed my lapel on my jacket, so I'm going to wear that to GeekCon and the whole shebang. But yeah, I'm going to bring Hellboy out again,
So I love how this passion of yours has given you the opportunity to kind of meet some of your inspiration.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
I mean, that's kind of what's happening here with the Strange and Wonderful. Courtney's going to have conversations with all sorts of amazing people. We spoke to Lizard Man the other week, and Joe.
Yeah, Castro. I saw that.
Yeah, really, really amazing conversations. Amazing people. I'm really enjoying what we're doing here. So thank you for coming on.
Awesome.
Thank you, Hannah.
I like making connections with all kinds of people. I think that's what it's all about. I think that art is a collaborative thing,
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely. So I have a couple of more here, and then I'm going to hand it over to Courtney because I know she's itching to get to her book. But you do.
Take your time.
You do a wonderful Poison Ivy.
Thank you. Oh my God.
And, I thought this was an amazing moment at a con.
That is my friend Wilhelm. He does Alien. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's from the South and he does cons and stuff. This Poison Ivy was fun. I don't know. So I hand sewed the leaves on, hand glittered them, made the gloves, styled the wig. I did not make the eyepieces. I tried and then I cried about it. And then I was like, I'll just order them from Etsy. Somebody else can make them. So here's the thing.
There's no shame in that. Yeah, there's no shame
at all.
So the corset, and of course, I've gained a little bit of weight, COVID, whatnot. The corset, I literally cry every time I try and get into it because it has a side zipper. So 3 people have to get me into it, not because I can't fit into it, but because it's just difficult. It's a full body. And my hips are kind of big. So, and then at that con, I couldn't move my eyebrows at all. So I was sitting here going like this.
Oh, wow.
And I look horrible in every photo. Wow. So that was not a good con, but it's okay. Yeah. That was geek con, but it was okay.
I noticed that some of the pictures you had those eyepieces, and then some of them you didn't. This is a great film right here.
Yeah, that is my Poison Ivy Playboy bunny. I really wanted to play into that because it's cute. It's really cute. That's the only reason why I did it. I made the ears. It was for Halloween originally. Then I was like, let me take it to a con and see how it goes, and it went well. And I made the plant myself as well.
You made the Audrey plant.
Yes.
Awesome. I love, that's one of the things I also love about cosplay is kind of, it's like, hey, this is a creative art form. I'm going to mash up, this and that. And
exactly. I mean, how can you not, it's so easy to do, especially if you have older costumes. You're like, I'm going to use that again. I've already made it. Why not use it again?
Right.
So
there was a great event I attended in Arizona. My folks live in Arizona, and they had in Phoenix a zombie walk. And it was seriously huge. Like there were so many people there. The streets were closed off, and it was all about mashup. It was like I saw zombie stormtroopers,
Nice.
zombie Lego, people, zombie everything. Everybody was a zombie, but they were like it was like imagine Comic-Con, there was a zombie breakout in Comic-Con and everybody turned into a zombie. It was really, really, the creativity was like incredible. So that was kind of cool. So all right, I've got a couple more here. I love this. So this one also I thought was pretty cool.
Frankenportal.
This is the first costume that I ever like handmade myself, and this is 5 years ago. This is Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show, and my sister was Eddie, by the way.
Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. You're good. I got a little bit of a backlash for this one.
How come?
Because of the wig. Because it's a long wig, and people did not take that well with Frankenfurter. He has the short wig, and I'm like, well,
it's your own spin on it.
Yeah, people come out to me at GeekCon, and we're like, I wasn't really a fan, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
fine, fine.
You don't have to be. I was doing it for me, not
exactly.
For you.
But yeah, I really like this costume. This was at Frightmare too, and I met Tim Curry in this costume.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's so cool.
And he was really nice. Of course, he's in a wheelchair,
Oh.
Which was sad to see, but he was really up in good spirits and everything. I caught him in the smoking section. Even though he's in a wheelchair, he's still smoking. So I'm like, all right, go boy.
I mean, at this point, he's like, why not?
Whatever. But he was really nice.
To each his own, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Whatever. I don't know if I would do it, but that's cool.
I was like, okay, Tim, get you some. All right. He was really nice, though. Really nice.
So this is the last one I have. I don't think I was really. I didn't know if this was an original creation or.
No, this is from Borderlands. This is Mad Moxie. Okay. She is a bar owner. That's why she has the tip jar. And Borderlands, there's like 3 of them. I stopped keeping count. But I really liked her character design. And I thought the wig was a fun challenge. And of course, it had makeup again. And I didn't make this costume. Like I said, I don't harp on people for doing that, because it's sometimes hard.
You didn't sew it together from scratch.
No, exactly. I altered it, because of course, not everything's going to fit.
Yeah, you still put everything together.
Yeah, but I did order the costume and the hat to Max, but because I was not.
This was more about the makeup and the wig.
Exactly. It was more about the makeup and the props and the whole outfit and the shoes, and it was just a lot for me to make, and I'm not good yet. I'm not that good. All right. So, but yeah, this is her. It's one of my favorites. This was also very controversial at GeekCon because mothers were looking at me like I was the devil.
No.
I was wearing a thong, and you couldn't see my butt, okay? But it hangs out on purpose. It rides up really high, because it's just coattails in the back. It's like a dress, and it anyways. But people were looking at me like I killed somebody, and I was like, "All right, that's fine."
Why do you think that is? I mean, it's a fun dress up thing. I mean, just because
I think it's
too much butt. I mean,
I think so. I think it's because I have a womanly figure, a bigger bust area. That's usually the issue with some of my costumes. People are like, "Yeah, well, I'm not bringing my kid over there," and I'm like, "Look, I'm nice. Okay, please. I can't help it, please." But yeah,
boobs.
It's just boobs, and I got a lot of looks. But it was fun. But
Yeah, no, listen, there's still people who don't get it, and I'm surprised that they would be at the Comic-Con, but
And to me, I think people that do revealing cosplays, they get thumbs up for me because I couldn't do it. I'm like, I don't want my ass out like that. I'm good.
I also think it might be because I am not and I really try and be a person to show people that you can cosplay no matter what size, because I'm not a small woman, so I feel like that might be an issue as well. I'm not super tiny, and that's okay. I have a normal body, and I try to make make that a part of my, my
Yeah.
thing, coming off to that is people being like, yeah, you can cosplay no matter what your size. It's okay. Do
Well, I
whatever
think,
you want.
yeah, I think some of the thing that comes through in your work is that self-love and that confidence. You're not afraid to be who you are, and you're using it to your advantage. So bravo for that. And again, we love that. We encourage that here. Everybody is unique. Everybody brings their own thing to the world. So bravo for all of that. Well, awesome. I mean, it seems like you're super happy with where you're at, and you're just continuing on the path, which is perfect.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff planned, and I have so much more to learn. But
Yeah. And you said what? You said you're 22.
I'm 22. Yeah, and
That's
I'll turn
awesome.
22 in April, so I'm still young.
You're young, and not a lot of people at 22 are focused, and really even know what the heck they want to do. So
Yeah.
Also the fact that you feel it, you're feeling something, and you're like, no, this is what I want to do. I feel it,
And she's coming right in behind me. She's about to turn
great.
17, and I'm like, do this,
Wow.
do your art, like, and
wow.
Trying to push that and instill that work on her. Hey,
Good,
you can do it if you put your mind to it. It don't matter what anybody says. Just do what you want.
1,000,000%. And you know what? It took me till probably probably my 30s to learn that. Everybody tells you your whole life. Hold on a second. I'm going to try to find something here. It took me to my 30s to realize that you can do anything you set your mind to. It's not just like an abstract saying. You just got to set your mind to it, and you just got to actually do it, and not just be like, well, I thought of it.
You just got to put it in motion, like how I did with this podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to start somewhere. That's the thing. It's like, it doesn't matter, how it starts. You just got to get going.
Yeah. So I'm not really doing a self plug, but I just want to share this with you because I think you'll appreciate it. And this is on my website, Photosynthesis. So I did a calendar called Women of Armageddon, and I did it in 2012 because I just, the world was supposed to end. Nostradamus said the world was going to end, and I jokingly was like, well, what's going to happen to the Swimwear Illustrated calendar? So I came up with this idea of, okay, Armageddon happened, and there's still this calendar, and they still try to get pretty for it, even though it's like Mad Max meets Victoria's Secret. These are small. Hold on a second.
There we go.
Yeah. So, so I have friends who are like cosplayers, and they work at haunts and stuff like that. So they love doing this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We went out to the Hamptons for this shoot on the beach. This was shot at a high velocity paintball field. So there were like tanks and airplane bodies and like cool stuff all over the place. Just gave me lots of cool opportunities to do lots of cool stuff with my photography. And I did it for 6 years.
Yeah, I bet that was really different, with photography, because, you can do anything with photography. I took a class and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a different creative outlet. You can do this, you can do nature, you can do all kinds of stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, you know what? It's like painting. Some people paint realistic, some people paint abstract. It's just a matter of using the tools. So everybody was joking around with me all the time. Hey, where's the Men of Armageddon? So I actually did that one year.
I love that. I love that. Inclusivity.
And you know what? It was cool because this guy right here is Lucas Hassel, and he's an actor who I was friends with because I have friends who do independent films and stuff. Yeah. And he was actually in The Blacklist, which is a show on TV. I don't
really
nice.
But he was on many episodes. He's like one of the main characters for the season or whatever it was. And then so that was that, and then some cool things. This was a bit of a tribute to Tank Girl, if it comes up.
Yeah, and I see a lot of that in this.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to take that inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely, that kind of thing. So.
I love that with the coloring and everything. Yeah, very nice.
A cool location that we went to. That was kind of cool, ripped up umbrella like kind of idea.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of fun to play with it as a photographer, and also to get the other people's creativity involved when we would discuss the characters and evolve the characters and all of that stuff. So this was kind of cool.
And you got to do props too, which is like, you know, the full package
what was so cool is I had so many people who wanted to get involved. All I really had to do was just kind of like show up and take the pictures.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
Like, I certainly styled it a bit. Like this was my idea to be like, oh, this is the last flower. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's around. So it's like, my creativity comes into it too. But it was a lot of fun. So
once you get people in, like creative minds in one spot, it's nonstop. Like, so many people have so many different ideas and abilities to do things. Like with the cosplay class with the adults, I'm learning so much. One of the people up there taught me how to make a tail, and I'm going to do it for Hellboy. And I'm like,
nice.
Wow, okay, I'm learning things. So
you know what, and that's such a great realization right there, to be humble enough to be like, hey, I'm teaching this class, but other people have other perspectives and other people have different experiences and can bring other stuff to the table. And
like the guy we're teaching it with, he does EVA, props, stuff like that, leather. We sew. He doesn't know how to sew. Right. So it was like a coming together type thing, totally. And that's, like I said, art is a collaborative process.
So what is EVA exactly?
EVA is like, how do I explain this? It's
like
foam.
It's foam stuff, right?
Like the yoga mats are made of.
Right.
You can use yoga mats, to make props and stuff like that. But he does. I don't know how to do all that, but I tried. So
totally, and it's so great, like you said, being exposed to all these different things. So I just thought of this event we did at Tied In Studio where I work, and we had these cosplayers come down, and they had those. The one guy, he was like huge, he had a robot big body, and it was all probably EVA. And, it was just amazing to see, what's going on. So it's a cool community, the cosplay community, because everybody it's the same thing with independent films. Everybody who's there on set of an independent film wants to be there because it's not the paycheck that's drawing.
Oh no, I don't get paid for all the con things that I do. I don't get paid. I just do it for meeting people.
You're spending your own money a lot of times.
Yeah,
it costs you money. But and I learned a lot of those lessons with Women of Armageddon. It was hard to sell a calendar because a calendar is only a limited window of sale, right? Once the year turns, it's like, okay, that calendar is no good anymore. So I learned some things. I did a couple of decks of cards, which are kind of timely. You just gotta evolve.
You can do like a magazine.
I'm actually working on an anthology of all of the 6 years of the calendar.
Nice.
Like a book, like a coffee table. Of everything. Because there's a lot of work, there's a lot of good stuff.
It is, and you got to keep up with that stuff. You're like, okay. And to see your progress evolve over those years is so nice. Totally. So nice.
Totally. And that was a good long period, 6 years, where I was focused on that kind of photography. I do some totally different stuff now. But anyway, all right. I think my portion of the show is coming to an end. It was awesome talking to you. I'll still be here jumping in on top of Courtney's questions, but Courtney loves to have a question and answer session with our guests. So
with her book, she's ready. She's ready.
Okay, Hannah, what is strange and wonderful about yourself?
Well, so that's a really hard question. Why'd you throw that at me firsthand? So I feel like I'm constantly doing really weird things. I think cosplay is something that people don't really understand until they actually get into it. And also some of my interests are really kind of, weird outside of cosplay. Like I'm a huge horror fan, like obscured horror.
Oh, I love it.
I just watched The Green Inferno and it sucked, by the way. But I really like that kind of horror.
That movie.
Okay. I'm not watching Cannibal Holocaust. No. Not with the animal deaths. So, horror movies, I really like liminal space type vibes, and like I play a bunch of video games all the time.
Wait, explain that? What is liminal space?
So, I learned about it through TikTok. I also really like TikTok. I'm not on it as much, but like I scroll. And it's like backrooms, kind of like if you were to look in like old school like malls and stuff like that, where it's very empty, but it still feels like very like light, if that makes sense. Like it's not like dead malls are a thing that I really enjoy. So my interests are very like weird. Like I like
that is a little bit of a weird kind of.
So it's like the back rooms.
Yes, it's like the back rooms. That's basically what it is. You know, like old school, like empty coals. Like
it seems like more like abandoned.
Yes, and I like that kind of stuff too. And I'm really into submerged animatronics. And I hate to say that, but like
submerged animatronics.
So I have a fear. I went to Six Flags one year, and I rode a ride that had Bugs Bunny and like Yosemite Sam and all that, and they were like coming out of like water and stuff. Like the Jaws ride, I don't like that kind of stuff, and I cry every time I get on one of those rides. So like, my like interests are very like it is. You know, and I play a lot of like, you know, Minecraft. I play The Sims. I play like really weird like old school horror. I collect old school horror video games: Parasite Eve, Silent Hill, Resident Evil. So like, my interests are very funky. You know, I'm not like, oh yeah, you know, and like my music taste are just the same, like, you know, Cody and Cambria, all the rock music and weird stuff. So like, you know, it's just, I'm all over the place. I'm very eclectic, as you can tell by my room. Like I collect
that's how I am too.
So like, I'm like, oh, I like that. It's gonna go on my wall. So, you know, I think that's the answer to it. Just me in general.
That's great. No, that's the answer to life. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, what is the purpose of life? And the purpose of life is to just be, and not just be, but to be you, like uniquely you. You know what I mean? And so I love it and embrace it, man. It's awesome to have found that at so young. I'm just doing that now, like just this whole broadcasting thing and meeting people and talking to people. I was never a social person, but I love talking to people and hearing their stories and giving them a chance to share their stories with other people. So by the way, if you're watching this broadcast, please subscribe. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Yes, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Because we need 100 subscriptions to give it our own URL. And once I do that, then I'm going to promote a little more. But I'm learning so much about the platform and social media, and just, you know, I'm loving it. So it's really a combination of everything that I do already: photography, videography, production, all of that stuff. So it's just cool. But anyway, back to you, and this is your space to be strange and wonderful. What do you got next, Courtney?
Okay. One of the questions we already got that asked, it was like when you discovered cosplaying was when you was 12, when you went to the horror convention to dress up as Freddy Krueger and you met Robert Englund. Okay, so
first time out, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
I cried.
Okay. Man, when was my first time? Oh, I need to get back on track.
You know what? Nightmare on Elm Street was definitely significant to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little older than you guys. I saw it in the movie theater.
Oh wow!
It was literally the first movie where I had to actually do this and like just kind of like peek through my fingers, like
it's scary. It's creepy. Even now, like
it freaked me out totally.
Oh man, I remember when I discovered that movie was. Yeah, I remember when I discovered Nightmare on Elm Street movie was when I was in middle school, and I just had this whole hyperfixation on the whole Freddy Krueger, not the ideology, but the whole history and background information. I was just so absorbed into it when I was a kid. And I think the first time I cosplay was when I went to a zombie walk, and I cosplay as an Adventure Time character with blood.
Yeah, we have them here. We have the zombie walks here. I've never been to one, but I want to. So.
They're so awesome.
They're cool.
I mean, it's weird. I love post-apocalyptic stuff, but I'm not huge on zombies. I did love The Walking Dead, and I think I just got my fill, you know, from the
I've never watched it.
It's so good.
I'm just now watching Stranger Things.
Wow. But Walking Dead, they did so many like original things with zombies that you had never seen before, like a zombie security guard that had body armor on, so you couldn't just kill it because it was wearing body armor. I mean, that's just genius, you know what I mean? So simple. But anyway.
Oh yeah, I gotta get back to my questions.
Enough
Got
sidetracked.
Yeah. Okay. Hannah, do you have family and friends that support you in your work? Well, obvious, we could see they support you.
Absolutely. My sister is my partner in crime here. She cosplays with me. We actually were doing Alice and the Red Queen from Alice Madness Returns together, and then we were like, we can't finish it. So she's been cosplaying with me since I was 12. And she was
nice.
I don't even know how old. We're 5 years apart, so do the math. That's why I'm a cosplayer and not. But yeah, exactly. That's why I went into theater because I can't do math. But my mother is a single mom, so it's only been us for a really long time. And she goes to the con. She's my handler. She goes to cons with me. She makes sure she does the money stuff while we're doing our thing. My boyfriend also very supportive. Very supportive. He goes with us. He helps out as much as he can. My grandfather actually helped me make my Harley Quinn hammer. Because I couldn't use power tools because I was like 17, and he was like, "I'll help you put it together." So that my grandmother is always like, "Do you need money for prints? Do you need money to buy pictures for Geek Home?"
What is that made out of? What's that made out of? That hammer? I saw a picture.
The hammer. So it's a cardboard sonotube, and it's like a dowel stuck in it. And then he screwed the dowel in, to make sure it wouldn't go anywhere. And it's expanding foam, like the spray expanding foam. And I just carved it, and it's painted. Wow. I need to remake it because I have more, better ideas now. But that's how that was done.
And how heavy is that?
Oh, it's heavy. It's heavy.
Because I remember when I was at a con, I tried to lift it. I'm like, no.
Yeah, because I always offer people. I'm like, you want to lift it? You want to see how heavy it feels?
Yeah, carry that around.
It's heavy, and of course, I have to pick it up and hold it whenever I'm gonna cry. And people are like, okay, and I'm like, get out of the way. And I'm in heels, so I'm like, it's fine. But yeah, my family's very supportive. Especially since I went to college for theater, they're like, oh, this is what she wants to do. She wants to do art. She wants to do, these kind of things. My mom is my biggest cheerleader by far. Anything I do, she's like in it, in it to win it. So always.
What is it? Is it just the costumes that you like in theater, or do you like sing? Are you musical as well?
I like musicals. I like, the crazy off the wall musicals. At my college, we only did like straight plays. So it was a lot of me doing, costume, not a whole lot of costume changes, but, I'm more behind the scenes. I did just about everything. I worked as a stagehand up there for work study. So I was painting, heavy lifting, helping with lights, helping with cables, sets and all that. So I do more backstage stuff than I do of anything else.
And do you like that stuff? I mean, I think that's fun, kind of.
I do, but costuming is, hair. I went in as a hair and makeup person, but then they pushed me into costumes, and I was like, all right, guess I'm doing this. Yeah. And then I found my love for it. So.
Well, that's kind of the frontline thing, I mean, like you said, getting all that attention at 12 had an impact on you, right?
Oh yeah, and I don't get on stage. I was gonna act once, and then I got canceled because of COVID. And I'm a very spiritual person, so I was like, yeah, that probably happened for a reason. I'm not meant to be on stage. I'm meant to make costumes and do my thing, not act. So I'm gonna stick with that.
Wow. Okay. Interesting, but I mean, when you make costumes, you're the one who's kind of displaying them.
Exactly. But the thing is, I can be myself, and I think that's what it is. I'm not very good at memorizing things. Not very good at
So you're saying acting, you don't.
Oh yeah. Keeping serious for a long period of time is not my thing. I'm a very silly, goofy person. I really have a really weird sense of humor. So they have to be on stage and being like, oh yes, let me fake cry. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
You like the play part.
My boyfriend can do it. I'm like, oh my god, stop.
Yeah, you don't like the play part of cosplay.
No.
No. I mean, you would rather be having fun than being serious, is what you're saying.
Oh, absolutely. And I have so much fun at these cons.
You dress up and you just go wild. There's no I don't have to remember my lines. I don't have to do specific actions.
Exactly. I'm too worried about my cosplay fitting right and moving right, and something falling out than I am anything else.
You can say that here. You could say you're afraid of your boobs falling out.
I am. I am.
I can
That's why my mom's there. She's like, I want to make sure nobody touches you inappropriately.
You said she was your wrangler before, but you meant she's your boob wrangler. Is really.
Oh yeah, always. Her and my boyfriend both. My mom will come up because I can't really see when I have big ass eyelashes on and stuff. She goes, "Give me those." I'm like, "Thank you, mom. Thanks. Your boobs are uneven. Come here." I'm like, "Thank you. Thanks."
That's so great. All right, what do you got, Courtney?
Okay. Who is your favorite characters to cosplay as?
That's a really good question. I think I have different characters for different reasons. I really like Harley. That's where I have the most fun because and my mom has said this. Everybody who's been around me has said this. I change how I act when I am in different costumes. Not like acting type thing like we were talking about, but like confidence level. Harley, I can go have fun and jump around and talk to people and be very bubbly. But like in Poison Ivy, I have to be more on the lower tone of that because she is a this sexy character and not like crazy, and she's very sultry and that kind of thing, and also the costume's really uncomfortable, so I kind of have to but Harley, I'm bouncing around, so it's probably Harley, because face paint is minimal. I have a sensory thing when it comes to makeup and stuff, which is surprising. So Hellboy is going to be fun. I'm not excited, but I do think Harley is fun, and that's my favorite. That's what I started with. After Freddy Krueger, I did Bombshell Harley, and I am continuing to do Bombshell Harley even after 9-10 years of doing her. I've been building up and taking more chances with her. So I think she's my favorite, but Pyramid Head is my second favorite. I don't like wearing him though, because it is so hard to see and everybody's tripping over me and stuff. And like, I got a big ass boots and I'm like, yeah, no. So, it depends on the day. I don't like Poison Ivy as much as people think I do.
Right.
Because it's so hard to get into the costume and it's so uncomfortable. And the wig's always tangling because it's like a wig that goes like down to my butt. So it's really annoying. But Harley she's my favorite.
Cool.
Okay. Okay. How do you do with people that think you should grow up and stop playing dress up?
Well, we were talking about family. I have some family who feel that way. Not close family, but relatives that are like, yeah, she went to college. She needs to grow up and get a real job. Or like, hey, maybe she shouldn't have done theater. That's not real money, And I'm like, I always tell them I'd rather be living in a cardboard box and happy than being rich and unhappy and like miserable with what I'm doing. I want to enjoy what I do. And I do enjoy what I do. And I think cosplay is a talent. I don't think it's just, even if you do buy your stuff, I think it's talent to even get out there with the confidence that you do in a costume and be weird with it, and like I'm sewing, I make people costumes sometimes, I'm making I'm making money from it. So I do think I kind of ignore them. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. Who cares?
Let me just tell you that the first 2 years of Women of Armageddon, I did that with the girl I was dating at the time, right? I had told her the idea in my head. I just like said it out loud. And she is a makeup artist. Mm-hmm. So she was like, well, why can't we do this? And it was November of 2011. So to come out for a calendar for 2012, I had a month, to shoot 12 girls and do all of the Photoshop and stuff. But she was the one who encouraged it. And when I met her, she was doing makeup at a mall in like Bloomingdale's, and she hated it. Mm-hmm. She was doing like makeup for old ladies, and they just didn't appreciate it, and she just hated it. But through me, she started doing some independent films, like freelance and stuff like that. We did the Women of Armageddon for a couple of years, and then things didn't work out, so she moved to New Mexico, where it's a big film community. Mm-hmm. And she started doing makeup for film. She got into the union, not SAG. There's another union for makeup artists.
Can't think of it off the top of my head.
I don't know what it is, AFSTRA, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think you're close. I think that's kind of what it's called.
Film association. But she got into the union, and at this point, she's worked with Christopher Lloyd, Clint Eastwood. She's done makeup on those people, and she's super happy, and she's making a living doing makeup. So it's not just cosplaying. You know what I mean? There's a skill to it that you can certainly apply to make money and to get and still stay involved in things you love. You know,
oh, absolutely.
So
people are always going to need people who know how to sew. My generation, I'm 22. Her generation, they don't know how to sew.
Right.
Like, we are so shorthanded at my work because it's older women. No offense, but like, you know, people are always going to need somebody to alter pants or alter something,
right.
you know, or sew something. So, like, you know, there's always going to be a market for what I do. It might not be exactly what my family wants me to do, you know, distant family. You know, people who are friends with my mom at work, they're like, and I'm like, well, you know, I'm having fun and I'm happy and I'm safe. And,
it
you know,
matter what they want you to do. They're
exactly.
Not you.
I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, good for you.
Okay. Are there characters that you won't cosplay as? And if so, what are they and why?
I have the first one that came to mind is the Harley Quinn, the new Harley Quinn. The blue and red, the one from Suicide Squad and Up, like, you know, Birds of Prey, all that.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of, like, you know, old school stuff. And that's another thing is I do a lot of old school stuff. My Poison Ivy is based on Uma Thurman. You know, Hellboy is, you know, an old movie from like early 2000. I don't do the new popular stuff, and I try not to because I want to be that niche type of person who does, she does these off the wall characters. But that's one that I will not do. And I don't think I could rock it with the, you know, the shorts and everything. I'm like, yeah, those are too small. No, thanks. But I just don't like the character design. I also don't think I'll ever do armor. I don't think that's something that I'll ever delve into. I'm more of a seamstress than I am an armor person. But yeah, new stuff, like superhero, like Marvel stuff. I won't do. Like, I'll do old school superheroes. Like, I'm thinking about doing Power Girl. I don't know if y'all know who that is. She has the boob window.
I know. Yeah, I know.
My friend Michael is like, you should do that. And I'm like, yeah, I can rock it. But, you know, old school stuff I'm good with. Comic book stuff I'm good with. Old, like, movies, you know, like Uma Thurman.
I've noticed you do also, but like video games was a big theme with.
I love video games. So a bunch of video games. I'm not very up to speed with like Marvel and Loki. She wants to do Loki, so like I'm like, have it. I'm not, because I'm just not. I want to appeal to a niche type of people. Right. I like old school video games and movies and stuff.
Yeah, what's that new video game character that with that big Madam some.
Lady Dimitrescu from.
Oh yeah, a bunch of people want me to do that. I'm like, no.
I haven't seen it. I just have seen it on the internet. I haven't played.
Seen it so many times. I've seen it like a lot. I still want to cosplay a whole though.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably do it later on when it gets older. You know, if it becomes like a thing where people are like, "Oh yeah, that video game was badass when it came out," like people do with Silent Hill. But yeah, I don't want to do something new and brand new. That's not my thing.
I know you do Juliet Starling from
Lollipop Chainsaw. I do.
I love that one.
Lollipop Chainsaw. That was like that's the first one that I brought to GeekCon when it first came to Shreveport, and it got a hell of a response. I need to make it now.
That's the character that kind of looks like a cheerleader with
chainsaw.
And what is that from? I wasn't familiar with that.
It's from a video game, Lollipop Chainsaw. It's on Xbox. It was really short-lived and very like niche, and not a whole lot of people know it. But it's a really good game. It's very like it's very like, you know, rock and very like pop at the same time. Like, it's very like girly, but also very like niche and funny and sexual. And
James Gunn wrote the script.
Yep, and the guy who did the Akira, the guy who did the music for the Silent Hill video games, the first 4, did the music for Lollipop Chainsaw. So I'm all about it. I'm like, this man really, really put his all into that. That game it took me like a day to play, which is kind of sad.
I know.
Yeah, but like it's a good game and very off the wall.
Seems like
it was fun. I don't know, one day I'm gonna cosplay as Swan, and I'm like, Juliet.
Yes. Absolutely. I love Swan. I love the character development in that game.
To be honest, when I played that game when I was 17 or 18, first time when I met Swan, I was like, oh, I fucking hate you. I can't wait to kill you.
I love the little I love the bosses. The bosses in there. So.
And then I kept playing. I'm like, Okay, his voice is kind of cute. Okay, he was my first video game crush.
Well, that's how I felt about the first boss. I don't know what his name. His name's like Sid or something. He's got a big ass mohawk.
I think it's Sid. Yeah, and he's voiced by Jimmy Ewan from
Jimmy Ewan. Yep. So it's like, yeah, it's great. I love that fucking game. It's so great.
Me too. It's coming back. It's coming back on PlayStation 4.
I don't know how to feel about that because I've heard they're making a remake.
Yeah, they're gonna remaster it and everything. I'm like,
okay, remaster is good. Remake, not good, but remaster, okay.
Yeah, they're gonna up the animation and make it look good.
Good.
I'm like,
and it is also Tara Strong, which is kind of funny because I've cosplayed a lot of Tara Strong characters, like Harley Quinn and Juliet Starling, and I use the same wig for both. So I think that's so fun. I'm like, yeah, that's my girl. I love Tara Strong.
And Tara also voices Twilight Sparkle from My
Little
Pony.
And Timmy Turner.
And a lot of other characters.
She is she's a firehouse. She's good.
She's all over the map. I was going to say that character was probably the closest thing that I saw you doing to like anime, right?
Oh yeah, it has a lot of anime inspiration. Now I've only seen 3 animes. I've seen Kill la Kill, Super Sonico, and I've seen Sailor Moon. And I really want to do Sailor Moon because it's cutesy and stuff. And I want to make me Sailor Moon. My sister wants to be a scout, and my boyfriend wants to be a scout. We watch Sailor Moon together. So I want to make him like a male version of one of them with like pants and stuff. So that's my plan for that. I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but it's in the works at some point.
Awesome.
Okay. I got 2 questions left. Okay. Did you ever see yourself making it big with your cosplaying, like getting featured in the news and stuff like that?
No.
No.
No. When I was younger, I was like, because I really used to watch Jessica Newgray a whole lot. I'm not really into her stuff anymore because cosplay and you were talking about internet and stuff like that, Michael, earlier with like your photography. I feel like and I'm going on a totally different thing, so I'm sorry, but I don't like how. And I do think that like internet's a good thing. I think internet with creativity and artistic things is a good thing, but also it's become a bad thing with cosplay, especially because now you're popular by like how many followers you have. And a lot of the time the higher ups, and like I'm probably gonna get hated on for saying this, they do more and I'm not trying to hate on anybody. Okay, just wanting to put that out there before. I'm not trying to sex shame anybody, but it has become pornography more than anything. Like I said, I used to follow Jessica Newgray religiously because she was like the spokesperson for Lollipop Chainsaw. She was Juliet in the commercials and stuff, and now it's her doing OnlyFans, and like that's okay. But if you're going to be a cosplayer, anyways, but yeah,
not so pure anymore.
Yeah, I mean it's not, and I'm not going to do that because I want it to be more about like my work, if that makes sense. Which is, I'm not trying to hate on anybody else who does that.
No, I think unfortunately porn has kind of infiltrated everything that we do.
Sex sells,
Yeah,
there's I was about to say that.
There's a channel for everything, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like cosplay, but cosplay was an easy target, I think, for porn to be.
And I think it's really hard because, we, a lot of cosplayers, I know a bunch of talented cosplayers who make their things and, who even don't make their things, but do really good work. And it's like, we can't be seen because we don't do OnlyFans. We don't promote that kind of lifestyle. And I'm not hating on anyone who does, but it is really hard. You get overshadowed because it's like, hey, I'm not doing that. I'm not selling premium content. I'm just showing you my work and who I am. But no, I did not see me doing this type of thing. I didn't even see me doing this for as long as I have. Right. I moved to Shreveport because my parents got divorced, and I was like, okay. I started college, and my world got kind of turned upside down because I didn't have as much free time to work on this. But I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna. I used to only do like one con a year because of college because I was so busy. And, doing theater, it's very taking your time, especially if you're working backstage, you have to be at this rehearsal, that kind of thing. So I didn't expect the Shreveport Times or these classes that I'm teaching or any kind of like collaboration I've done in Shreveport. I didn't think I'd ever be here. And it makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
You know, younger me is smiling right now going, you go,
awesome.
girl.
That's so great to hear. You said you were spiritual, and I feel like that's the attitude to have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. You know where you're going, and you're just being your authentic self. And the more you do that, the more that you open up to yourself. You know what I mean? And I think I don't even have to tell you that. I feel like you see that happening. You know. Cool. You got. Are we on your last famous question, Courtney?
Yes. Yo.
Nice.
Okay.
I think she almost just answered it.
Yeah. Okay. If you could go back in time to your kid self, what would you tell them and why?
I would be like, keep going and don't. Sorry, I got thrown off because I saw her in the hat over here. I apologize. I'm kind of giggling at it because it was just these two horns. Sorry. Anyways,
I can't see. Oh, there she is, Emma.
It was funny. Come here.
Come see the hat.
They want to see that. They want to see the hat. Look, she didn't have her makeup on. She does like big goth makeup.
We want Emma. Hey Emma, what's up, Emma?
Put on the hat.
I'm not putting it on. It's not finished. But this is it so far. This is what I'm taking to GeekCon this year.
Awesome. Good job.
You can go back to work.
Okay.
Bye, gremlin. Bye, little gremlin. So I think I tell myself, keep working. I don't think I've done anything wrong in this path to where I am. I don't think that is like a thing. I think, like I said, everything happens for a reason. So I don't think I'd like tell them, hey, change the way you're doing this. Right. I feel like I'd tell them, keep going at the rate that you're going, keep looking and challenging yourself, because I desperately am. I'm still challenging myself. I cried over a costume last week. And I constantly do that. My mom says if there's not a breakdown during a costume making, process, it's not a successful one, because, I'm really pushing myself, and I'll, keep doing your stuff, keep reaching out to people and making connections, and being nice. I said it in my Shreveport Times, article, be kind. I feel like that'll get you so far, because you deal with a lot of asshole people. You deal with a lot of different people with different views than you, people with different lives than you, people who grew up different than you. Right. So, keep being kind, because I feel like that's a big part in the cosplay. You deal with people. Yeah. Totally. You have to be kind.
Totally. That's amazing, because we're always asking for words of advice at the end of the show, and I think you just gave them to us.
You got to be kind, whatever you're doing, no matter if it's artsy, photography, stuff like that.
Don't let them take it away from you.
No, because you can become so sour in this world, because this world is really rough. Yeah. But especially if you're doing, stuff like we're doing, artsy stuff that people don't understand, and people can be so rude and harsh, especially on the internet.
Yep.
But you got to be kind. You got to be kind to people. You got to be kind to, animals. I'm a huge animal person. So
me too.
I have 4 cats. So I'm always about being kind to just every beautiful creature on earth, because I feel like it's going to come back to you at some point. So,
it's so great to hear people say that. It makes me feel so good. And again, Courtney, how we're always crossing over with the live stream of consciousness, right?
Yes, that's how we met.
It's a spiritual show, and we talk about life being an energy exchange, and you just got to be aware of it and control it. You know what I mean? And just give out good energy, and you'll get good energy.
I'm very spiritual about that. You give out good energy, you manifest good things for yourself, you manifest good things for people. You don't wish bad things on people.
There you go.
Or anything. You treat every creature kind, whether it's a beetle or a person. That's just how it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you.
Right. Yeah. So we may be strange and wonderful, but we wish everybody a lot of love and just to be kind to each other. I think it's time to wrap it up. That was a great episode. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. And I'll come back again if y'all want. I'm happy to do it.
Yes, awesome. We will have you back. That was a great conversation. A lot of fun learning all about you.
Thank you.
Courtney, who do we got next week?
Well, I met him through Facebook. I found his style and fashion interesting. It reminded me a lot of this Batty Winkles. It might be a lot of this old lady that like to dress young and stuff. But this is a man. He dressed very feminine, very out there and spiritual. His name is Michael Durlin.
Awesome. I can't wait.
And he'll be coming on next Wednesday in August.
That's awesome. Well, do you have anything to say to our wonderful viewers? I'm just going to say thank you for always being here and watching the show. People who are watching on the replay, thank you guys for trusting us with your time.
And y'all get a heart. We love y'all. Thank you for all the support. Keep subscribing. And tell your friends to subscribe to us.
Subscribe. Yeah. All right. Peace out. We'll see you next week.
Love ya.